After my college fund was stolen to buy my brother a truck, I walked away and took quiet action. And the reckoning that followed hit my family with devastating consequences they never believed would ever come. I was the older brother, always had to be the mature one, the responsible one, which just meant I got blamed for everything and Tyler got away with murder. I, 22 male, have one younger brother, Tyler, 20 male. Even when we were kids, it was obvious how different we were treated. I'd get grounded for bringing home a B+. Tyler got detention for cussing out a teacher and somehow ended up with ice cream that night. Like, I wish I was exaggerating. One time on my birthday, I was turning 15. They made me pay for my own cake because we're trying to teach you financial independence. 2 months later for Tyler's birthday, they rented out a damn trampoline park and gave him a PlayStation. But it didn't really hit until junior year of high school. That's when I saved up for months, literally saved every check from my part-time job stocking shelves to build a custom gaming PC. It wasn't just for gaming either. I was doing 3D design, video editing, a little coding on the side. That PC was my pride and joy. I researched every part like it was a car engine. I didn't go out, didn't party. That setup was my thing. And then one weekend I came home from school and it was gone, like gone. Desk was empty, monitor unplugged. I thought I got robbed. I asked my mom and she said, "We sold it." Just like that, sold it. No warning, no heads up, nothing. I asked why and she said, "You've been spending too much time on it." It was becoming a distraction. My dad just nodded like that made sense. Guess who got a brand new iPhone that week? Yeah, Tyler. His reason? He needs it for school. Bro didn't even go to class half the time. He used it to take gym selfies and harass people on Snapchat. That's when the resentment started building, like real resentment. The kind where every small thing starts getting under your skin. I couldn't even eat cereal in peace without him barging into my room, leaving the door wide open, taking my charger, grabbing my stuff. And when I told him to knock, he'd just laugh. "You're so dramatic, Chill." They never made him respect boundaries. My parents acted like my door was optional. If I locked it, I got yelled at. "What are you hiding? This is our house." Meanwhile, Tyler could have friends over, play loud music until midnight, skip chores, leave trash everywhere, and it was all fine. At 17, I started helping them with bills. My dad had just retired. They said they were tight on money. I stepped up. I didn't even think about it much. I had a job and I figured it was the right thing to do. Rent, groceries, gas, stuff like that. Tyler, still mooching, never contributed $1. They didn't even ask him to, but whatever. I still thought I'd get my shot. My grandpa passed away around that time, left behind some money. Not a fortune, but enough, around $50,000 give or take. And he was super clear. This is for Nate's education. He didn't trust my parents with it. So he set up a custodial account. I didn't touch it, not once. I worked, got good grades, and aimed for a university out of state. Got accepted too, and a partial scholarship. Only needed that fund to cover what the scholarship didn't. I thought I was finally getting out. Then came the day I asked my dad to help me transfer the money. That was 3 weeks before I was supposed to move. I'll never forget that moment. I was at the kitchen table with my laptop out, housing deposit pulled up on the screen. I asked if he could go with me to the bank. He paused, like really paused, then said, "Oh, about that." My stomach dropped. My mom stopped washing dishes and got real quiet. Dad just said it like it was no big deal. We had to use that money. I just sat there like, what do you mean had to? Then Tyler walks in holding keys. Brand new truck parked outside. Freaking Ford F-150, brand new, shiny as hell. "Thanks for the truck, Dad." He says, "Drives like a dream." I legit thought I was having a stroke. "You bought him a truck with my college fund?" My dad looked me in the eye and said, "He needs it for work. You'll figure something out. That's what broke me. You'll figure something out." I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just stared at them like I was looking at strangers. I went to my room, sat on the bed, and just sat there. Not even mad, just hollow. Then I packed a bag, left a note, and walked. After I left, I didn't go to a friend's house. I went straight to my Uncle Ron's. Ron was my mom's older brother. Guy never talked much, but he always showed up when it counted. Ex-military, ran a local tire shop, owned a beat-up cabin on the edge of town with 2 trucks in the driveway and a golden retriever that barked like a maniac but wouldn't hurt a fly. I hadn't seen him in months. Still, when I knocked on his door at 9:30 p.m., with a backpack and zero plan, he opened it, looked me up and down once, and said, "You staying or just passing through?" I said I needed a place. He stepped aside. Next morning I explained everything: the truck, the money, the college deposit I couldn't make now. He stood at the counter pouring coffee and didn't say a word until I finished. Then he nodded once, pulled out an old folder from his filing cabinet and flipped through it until he found what he was looking for. "Your granddad didn't trust your dad," he said. "That's why he put the money in a custodial account, Utma." I stared at the folder he handed me. My name was on the papers. The bank statement showed the account existed in my name with my dad listed only as the custodian. Funds weren't supposed to be touched unless it benefited me directly: school, medical stuff for my future. A brand new truck for my brother didn't qualify. Ron got on the phone with a lawyer he knew, guy named Mr. Baxter, owned a small office downtown, mostly handled wills and land disputes, but he knew enough to recognize a legal breach when he saw one. Ron drove me over the next day. Baxter reviewed the paperwork, pulled his glasses off his nose, and said, "We have a case." He drafted the complaint that afternoon. It was short, straight to the point: violation of custodial account duties under the UTIMA Act, misappropriation of funds, breach of fiduciary responsibility. I signed it. Ron filed it that Friday. Word got around fast. My parents got served the next week. I didn't talk to them. They called. I didn't pick up. Mom texted once, said she couldn't believe I'd do this to family. Dad followed with a voice message saying, "I wasn't raised like this." Tyler sent a laughing emoji. My parents didn't take it seriously at first. They thought I'd cool off, drop the whole thing. But then Baxter sent over the full documentation, and they saw I wasn't bluffing. The bank confirmed the withdrawal. The dealership confirmed the truck purchase. The paper trail was airtight. That's when they started scrambling. My Aunt Patty called me. My mom's sister said I was tearing the family apart. Said my parents were struggling and Tyler was under a lot of pressure. I asked if she knew where the money came from. She didn't. When I told her it was Grandpa's fund put under my name legally, she went quiet. Then she said I should still drop it for peace. Ron heard the call. He told me to write down everyone who picked their side. Said it had saved him trouble later. Court hearing started 3 weeks later. Nothing dramatic, just a lot of paperwork, statements, numbers. My parents showed up looking exhausted. My mom wore the same navy coat she always wore to church. Dad didn't even shave. Tyler wasn't there probably, too busy shining the truck they bought him with my future. They didn't bring a lawyer. Their excuse was simple: we thought we were allowed. They said they used the money for family benefit. The judge didn't buy it. Said the account rules were clear. My dad violated the terms when he pulled the money for anything unrelated to me. The truck wasn't defensible. The judge froze their assets tied to the account and set a restitution order. They had 90 days to pay back what they could. Ron didn't smile, just folded the paperwork and said, "Good. Now let's get your ass back in school." I couldn't afford out-of-state tuition anymore, but I applied for late enrollment at the local university. Got accepted within a week. Baxter helped me get a grant based on financial disruption and family separation. I moved into the spare room above Ron's garage. He didn't charge me rent, said I could pay him back by working weekends at the tire shop. I showed up at 6 a.m. every Saturday, changed tires, cleaned floors, did whatever he needed. Ron didn't give speeches, but every once in a while he'd toss me a bottle of water and nod like I was doing fine. That was enough. Back at the house, I built a new PC, used some leftover parts from the shop office, and scraped together the rest off Craigslist. It wasn't as fast as the last one, but it worked. I used it for class projects and freelance design work, picked up some side gigs, editing videos, making logos, designing websites for small businesses that needed cheap help. My grades were decent, not perfect, but I passed. Tyler never reached out again. The truck got repossessed 2 months after the hearing. Turns out he stopped paying the insurance and ran it through a stop sign, smashed the front end. The dealership sent my dad a collections letter. Ron taped it to the fridge and laughed. After the hearing, everything shifted. My parents stopped acting like victims and started acting desperate. First, it was the letters, handwritten stuff, messy penmanship folded up and mailed to Ron's address. The first one came 2 weeks after the court order. My mom's writing. She started off by saying they were sorry I felt betrayed, said they never meant to hurt me, claimed they only used the money because they thought I'd understand. There was no actual apology, just a lot of "you have to see it from our side." Ron read it, tossed it in the trash, and kept eating. 2 days later, another one showed up. This one from my dad. Different tone. He said suing them was disrespectful, that I was acting like a stranger. At the end, he wrote, "You owe us more than this." Ron taped that one to the fridge next to the collections notice from the dealership. Neither of us said a word about it after. Then came the texts. I'd already blocked their numbers, but they started using random burner apps. New number every time. I'd get messages like, "You need to stop this," followed by, "We love you, please come home." Then another one saying I was tearing the family apart. The next message would be from a cousin telling me my parents were sick over the stress and couldn't sleep. One of my uncles, my dad's younger brother, called Ron directly, said I was being dramatic, said it was just money and family should come first. Ron asked him where he was when they drained my future into a pickup truck. The call didn't last long after that. Word spread fast. My parents told everyone they had to use the money for an emergency. They never said what the emergency was. Left out the part where Tyler drove that emergency into a telephone pole 3 weeks after the court order. Nobody got the full truth, just their twisted version. I stopped hearing from most of my extended family. Birthday came and went. No messages, no texts, no cards. Not even from Aunt Patty, who used to call me every year without fail. They all picked their side. Probably easier for them to believe I was just the ungrateful kid who lost his mind over a misunderstanding. Only person who stuck around besides Ron was my cousin Jack. He lived 2 states away but texted me every couple weeks. Jack always hated how my parents treated Tyler like he was some golden retriever and I was the house guest. He didn't say much, just made sure I was still standing. "You good?" "Yeah, cool. Need anything? Say it." That was Jack's style. Meanwhile, Ron's tire shop picked up business. Word of mouth. I helped redesign his website, cleaned up his booking system, and handled the email side. He didn't ask, I just did it. 2 weeks later, he handed me an envelope with cash. I told him I didn't need it. He said, "Yeah, well, you didn't need them either, and look how that went." At school, I kept it moving. Got into a solid groove. Classes, freelance work, part-time shifts at the shop. I stayed busy, kept my head down, and stacked savings. Ron's rule was simple: contribute and carry your weight. That's it. Tyler popped back up one day through Instagram, made a new account, and DM'd me. Picture of the truck wrecked, front end caved in. Caption said, "Guess you won." He followed it up with, "Dad's losing it." Then nothing else. Didn't respond, didn't screenshot, didn't forward it to Ron, just kept working. My parents started missing payments, legal bills, debt collectors. They didn't go bankrupt, but they were circling that drain. Tyler wasn't helping. He'd quit his job 2 months into having the truck. Said he was going to start a YouTube channel. He posted 2 vlogs, both filmed vertically, both filled with wind noise and shaky camera angles. One had a video of him talking about how messed up family can be with hashtags like #fakelove and #blacksheep. Ron watched 5 seconds and shut it off. 3 months after the hearing, I got a letter from the county. Formal notice that a lien was placed on their property. Failure to comply with the court order. They had missed their first 2 payments. Baxter forwarded the document to me. No comment, just attached. Ron put that one in a folder labeled "They did it to themselves." I didn't bring it up. He didn't either. Jack texted that week, said he ran into Aunt Patty at the grocery store. She asked if he talked to me. He told her yes. She said tell him his mother cries every night. Jack told her tell her to cry to the judge. By the time fall rolled around, things had settled. My parents weren't reaching out as much. Most of the noise had died down. Jack came to visit for a weekend. We grilled outside, watched a football game, and talked about starting a small media project together. Nothing serious, just something we could build without anyone else ruining it. At the end of the weekend, he handed me a flash drive. "Keep this just in case." It was filled with screenshots, old messages, group chats, proof, conversations between my parents and a few relatives talking trash about me behind my back, saying I was selfish, saying I was milking the lawsuit, saying I was lucky Grandpa didn't leave the money to someone more loyal. That one stuck out. Grandpa made it clear. He left it to me because I earned it, not because I was loyal, because I actually gave a damn about doing something with my life. Jack said, "You ever need to clear your name, drop it all at once." I didn't plan to, but it was good to know I could. By the start of the next semester, I was finally able to take a full course load. Ron helped me pick my classes. He didn't say much, just circled the ones that lined up with decent jobs. No theory junk, straightforward, practical stuff, digital design, software development, network security. He also told me, don't load up more than you can carry. I took 4 classes and kept working weekends at the shop. Money was tight, but I was fine. I lived above the garage, rent-free. The space wasn't big, but it was clean. Just me, my PC, a mattress, a fridge, and an old wooden desk. I had everything I needed. I started freelancing more, doing simple website builds for local businesses and small-time creators who didn't want to deal with Wix or Squarespace. The cash came in slow at first, but it stacked up. Ron added me to the shop payroll. Minimum wage, no benefits, but it counted. He made sure I filed taxes properly, said if I was going to be on my own, I needed to do it right from the beginning. I never missed a shift. Showed up early, stayed late when needed. Learned tire rotations, oil changes, brake checks. My hands were always covered in grease, but I never complained. I stopped checking my phone for messages. The numbers slowed down anyway. No more fake apologies or half-assed justifications. My parents went silent after the lien got recorded. Baxter said they hired a lawyer, but the guy filed for continuance twice, then dropped off the case. Last thing we heard, they were trying to refinance the house. Ron just shook his head. I didn't care what they did anymore. Not my problem. Mid-semester, I picked up a new client. Guy ran a tutoring service and needed a booking system built from scratch. Paid half up front. When I finished the job, he sent the other half plus a tip. That money went toward something I'd been thinking about since day one, getting a dog. I didn't want anything fancy, just wanted a dog that wouldn't flinch at loud sounds and didn't bark at shadows. Ron knew a local shelter. He called them on a Thursday and said we'd swing by the next day. That's how I met Rex. Brown pit lab mix, 4 years old, scar on his ear, and a messed up back leg from something they never figured out. Calm as hell. When they brought him out, he walked straight over to me and sat down. Didn't lick, didn't jump, just stared like he was waiting to see if I was worth it. Ron nodded. That's your guy. The adoption fee was waived. The shelter said he'd been there for months with no bites. I brought him home that night. He slept on the floor the first 2 days, then curled up next to the bed on the third. After that, he followed me everywhere. With Rex around, the place felt different, not softer, just less empty. He didn't make noise, he didn't get in the way, but he was there. Every morning when I grabbed my keys, every night when I turned off the monitor. Jack drove up again later that month. We took Rex on a walk, got burgers from a stand down the road, and talked about starting a small brand together. Nothing fancy, just something to build for ourselves. We came up with the name Cold Start and bought the domain the same night. Jack handled the writing and logistics. I handled the website and design. We didn't announce it. No big launch, just started building. Classes went well. My grades stayed solid. I passed all 4 courses and registered for the next round. I picked up 2 clients through referrals and turned one of them into a recurring gig. Monthly updates, maintenance, and SEO tweaks. Paid enough to cover groceries, utilities, and gas.
Ron started letting me run the front desk when things were slow. I handled scheduling, invoices, and parts orders. He didn't say it out loud, but I knew he was training me to handle more than just the grunt work.
One day, a customer came in with a busted axle. Said he'd heard about us through Facebook. He pulled out his phone and showed me a post from a community group. Someone had recommended the shop and mentioned the guy who rebuilt his life above the garage. No name, just that phrase. Ron smirked. Guess you're famous. I kept my head down and finished the ticket. By the end of the year, I had enough saved to move into my own place, but I didn't. I stayed, not because I needed to, because I wanted to. Ron never asked for anything, but he gave everything. Quietly, consistently, same way he'd always lived. One Friday afternoon, while we were locking up, he handed me an envelope. Don't open it here, he said. When I got upstairs, I opened it. Inside was a bank receipt, a savings account with my name on it, and $5,000 already deposited. Beneath it was a sticky note, not charity, investment. That night, I added my freelance income to the account and set a goal. No celebration, no deep thoughts, just action. Rex curled up on the rug, snoring like an old truck. Everything felt steady. The school district reached out after one of our Cold Start clients recommended us to a board member. They were putting together a career day thing, wanted local alumni to speak. Nothing formal, no blazers, no speeches, just talk to a gym full of high school seniors about how we made it work after graduation. I said I'd do it. Jack thought it'd be hilarious. Ron just said, might be good for business. Cold Start was steady by then. We had 5 regular clients. 2 of them were monthly retainers. Word of mouth kept things moving. Jack handled most of the people stuff. I kept my head down and got the builds done. Logo refreshes, landing pages, small e-com stores. No stress, no drama. The panel was on a Saturday. I walked in with a backpack, laptop, and handouts we printed at home. I talked about working through school, running side gigs, and how Ron gave me a space to crash above his garage while I got on my feet. The kids didn't ask many questions. Most of them just looked tired. Midway through the panel, my parents walked in, sat in the back like they were proud VIPs or something. Mom had her hair done. Dad wore a jacket I hadn't seen in years. Both of them smiled like nothing had happened, like they hadn't stolen 50 grand and bought a truck for the world's most useless brother. After the event, they came up like they were meeting a long-lost friend. Mom hugged me without asking, said she was so happy to see me doing well. Dad gave me a stiff handshake and said we should connect. I walked away without saying anything. 3 days later, they emailed the Cold Start business address, said they had an idea for a family project and wanted to collaborate, claimed they wanted to make peace. Jack flagged the email, forwarded it to me, and deleted it from the inbox. Didn't even ask if I wanted to reply. The next week, Tyler showed up at the garage with a pizza box and a smirk. Said he was just swinging by to patch things up. Tried to talk like none of it mattered. Said the truck was probably cursed anyway. Tried to give me the pizza. I shut the door in his face without saying a word. Ron watched from the garage window, didn't say a thing, just kept working.
It didn't stop.
A letter showed up next. Real pen and paper, Mom's handwriting. She wrote that they were in a difficult situation and needed short-term financial help. Said they were proud of how far I'd come and hoped I'd do the right thing. There was no mention of the UTMA account, no mention of the lawsuit, no mention of the fact that Tyler hadn't worked a real job in over 2 years. The same day that letter arrived, Baxter forwarded me a report. My parents hadn't paid their lien, the deadline had passed. Their house was in pre-foreclosure. Property taxes were overdue. The mortgage had been refinanced once already. They were out of wiggle room. A week after that, Aunt Patty pulled into the lot during lunch. Ron and I were sitting on the tailgate of the shop truck eating sandwiches. She got out of a beige SUV like she was showing up for brunch. Walked right over, asked if we could talk privately. Ron said no, she didn't blink, just said the family was going through a rough time. Said my parents were hurting. Said they were ashamed to ask but needed help. Said it would mean a lot if I could help out for old time's sake. Ron stood up and told her to leave. She looked shocked. Said, "Is this really the example you're setting?" Ron said, "You can go now." She left. Didn't even shut the car door properly before driving off. The next week was quiet. No texts, no emails, no letters, nobody else came by. No contact was made after that. The message had been received, loud and clear. They weren't getting anything from me again. The foreclosure hit public record first. It showed up in a local real estate database, then in a newspaper ad for pre-auction listings. The house my parents had lived in for over 20 years was officially on the chopping block. Missed payments, unpaid taxes, and a lien from the court case stacked on top of it. The bank gave them 30 days. Ron printed it out and taped it to the shop fridge right next to the old collections letter from the truck loan. Tyler posted a rant the next morning. Instagram story said some people in the family don't know how to forgive. Said they were punishing the wrong people. He recorded it from the driver's seat of a car that didn't look like his. The next clip showed him asking followers to Venmo him for emergency relocation. No one bit.
My dad tried to apply for a hardship extension on the lien. Baxter blocked it immediately.
The judge denied the motion within 3 business days. He cited breach of custodial trust and said any delays would set a precedent that excuses theft under the cover of family obligation. They had no legal standing.
A week later, their utility bills got cut off. No heat, no running water.
Neighbors started asking questions. Someone posted a picture of my parents dragging furniture into a rental van. The caption just said, "End of an era." 3 days later, Jack sent me a message. One of our distant cousins shared a GoFundMe link in the family group chat. The title, "Help Our Parents Rebuild." The description claimed they'd been unjustly targeted and lost everything due to miscommunication, and the fundraiser got shared 5 times. One donation, $10, from Aunt Patty. 2 days later, the link disappeared. They moved into a motel near the highway. The property was auctioned that Friday. A couple bought it in cash. Clean deal, no strings. My dad left behind half the garage tools. The new owners tossed everything that didn't have a receipt. Tyler got kicked out of the motel within a week. No ID on file, no card on record. He tried staying with a friend from high school. Lasted 2 nights, got booted for trying to smoke indoors. He posted a TikTok clip claiming he was a victim of generational trauma. The comment section was full of people laughing.
My mom got a job at a daycare.
My dad picked up part-time maintenance work at an apartment complex. He cleaned gutters and handled trash runs. One tenant filmed him unclogging a drain and posted it online with the caption, "This guy used to talk like he ran the neighborhood. I didn't say a word." Ron got a letter addressed to me. My parents didn't sign it, just typed it up and mailed it from a P.O. box. They asked for one meeting, no legal talk, no lawyers, just a sit-down. Said they wanted to apologize face-to-face. said they had things to say. Ron mailed it back with a note that said, no. The next month, Jack forwarded another group chat screenshot. Aunt Patty told everyone I had cut all ties and gone full selfish, said I was letting them suffer for a mistake. Jack responded with a PDF of the court ruling and a screenshot of the UTMA account summary. No one replied. After that, it went dead silent. Tyler vanished off social media, deleted all accounts. Rumor was he tried to apply for disability and got denied. Someone said he got caught trying to pawn a stolen laptop, but nothing ever got confirmed. My dad got injured on the job, slipped on ice during a trash run, and cracked a rib. Missed 3 weeks of work. My mom picked up an overnight janitor shift at a middle school to keep them from getting evicted. They ended up in a basement apartment next to a gas station. The GoFundMe was reposted by someone else under a different title. This one didn't even use names, just said parents need help after betrayal. It stayed up for 6 hours before someone reported it and it got pulled. Their credit score tanked. They couldn't get approved for a new vehicle. The truck debt sat in collections. Tyler still hadn't paid off a single dime. The dealership issued a default judgment. They started garnishing what little income was left in my dad's name. Ron got another envelope 2 months later. Inside was a list of furniture. My parents wanted to know if I'd take anything back that used to belong to me. Old desk, books, clothes, pictures. They planned to throw the rest out. Ron tossed it in the burn barrel behind the shop and lit it. Nothing else arrived after that. They ran out of places to land. After the basement apartment, they bounced between motels and short-term rentals, most of them cash only. My dad got dropped by his part-time gig after too many missed shifts. His injury kept him out longer than expected. My mom picked up hours where she could, mostly cleaning work and after-hours school janitor contracts. They applied for assistance, got denied. Too many assets transferred, too much missing paperwork. The UTMA breach stayed on record. The lien got resolved through the auction payout, but the ruling stayed on their financials. It flagged every credit check and rental background they tried to run. Tyler started working at a vape shop. Fired within 2 weeks for showing up late. Tried Uber Eats. Crashed a scooter, left a delivery on the wrong porch, then blamed the app. The store left a review calling him the laziest human we've ever met. Word got around fast in a town that small. The GoFundMe attempts didn't resurface. Nobody wanted to touch it anymore. They'd burned every bridge and every backup plan. Extended family ghosted them. Aunt Patty stopped bringing them up in group chats. Jack never replied to anything she posted after she tried guilt-tripping him. Cold Start kept growing. We didn't go viral, we didn't advertise. Just did the jobs and stayed quiet. By year 2, we were pulling steady contracts from regional businesses. I had a small team of freelancers by then. Jack hired a college intern to handle admin stuff. Ron helped us convert part of the garage into a meeting space. He never brought them up, never asked, never mentioned their names again. One afternoon, Ron got a call from the public library front desk. Said someone had dropped off a package for me, no return address. We drove over. It was a photo album. Every picture from my childhood, birthday parties, school plays, report cards, notes from teachers, pages filled with comments like "we're so proud of you," and handwriting I'd seen on court papers months earlier. Taped inside the back cover was a letter. It was short. 2 sentences, "We were wrong. Please talk to us before it's too late." We left it on the library counter. Later that year, I got invited to another local career event, this time hosted at a community center near where my parents had been staying. They were trying to clean up the area, get donations, boost attendance. The event was basic: tables, flyers, a small stage. I agreed to show up, not to speak, just to sit, shake hands, and be present. Ron drove me down, dropped me off, and parked 2 blocks away. 30 minutes into the event, I saw them. They looked different, smaller. My dad had lost weight. My mom moved like her back hurt. Tyler walked behind them, hands in his hoodie pocket, eyes darting around the room like he wasn't sure what he was even doing there. They didn't make a scene, just walked up slow. My mom was holding something wrapped in brown paper. My dad tried to smile. Tyler kept his head down. They stood there like people waiting for a decision. She spoke first. "Can we talk?" I said no. She stepped forward, held out the wrapped bundle, said it was everything they had left, said it was mine if I wanted it. My dad said they were trying to put things back together, asked if I could help just a little, said they had nowhere else to go. I looked at them, then I turned around and walked away. Didn't say anything else, didn't take what they brought, didn't look back. Ron pulled up 2 minutes later. I got in the truck, we drove off.